Factsverse presents Biggest Snakes Ever Found. Number 1. Yellow Anaconda. A construction crew was carrying out a controlled explosion in the cave of Altamira in Para, Brazil. When they were working in the caves, they made a discovery which scared them to death. It was an anaconda that was 33 feet long and 16 inches in diameter. When the crew discovered the snake, they chained it to a crane and they lifted it out. This was a very dangerous decision, but fortunately no one was hurt. After they got the snake up and on the crane, they took photos. Number 2. Reticulated Python. On October 12, 2011, a reticulated python was found in Kansas City, Missouri. The snake was 25.2 feet long. At the time, it was considered to be the longest snake ever in captivity. The snake was estimated to be about 10 years old, and it took 15 men to hold it. After the snake was captured, it was adopted by the city's Full Moon Productions and was named Medusa. Since being adopted, her diet has consisted of a combination of rabbits, deer, and hogs, and she eats twice a week. She is capable of eating a 40-pound deer in one sitting. Number 3. African Rock Python. The African rock python is a constrictor snake and it's known for its bad temper. Therefore, this snake does not make for a good pet. These snakes are known to be over 20 feet long. Sadly, in August 2011, 2 boys were found strangled to death in New Brunswick, Canada. The main suspect in the crime was an African rock python. Canada is not the only place where these huge snakes are a problem. Over the last few years, these snakes have started invading parts of Miami, Florida. Since this area is already being overrun by alien snakes, the African rock python is making the problem increasingly worse. Number 4. Indian Python. On a construction site in Malaysia, workers found a massive Indian python that measured over 26 feet long and weighed over 551 pounds. According to an official, it took the workers on the site over 30 minutes to safely capture the snake. Luckily, nobody was hurt. After the snake was captured, it was put into captivity. Sadly, not long after the snake was captured, it laid an egg and then died. Researchers who studied the snake could not explain why the snake died, since laying an egg is not a common cause of death in snakes. Later, a video was released on the Malaysian Star News website showing one of the men who helped capture the snake kicking it. After reviewing the tape, the researchers suggested that the kicking could have caused internal injuries, killing the snake. Number 5. Scrub Python. A group of men found a scrub python near the Rainforest Natural Park in Queensland, Australia. According to the general manager of the national park, the snake was over 16 feet long and weighed over 110 pounds. He also noted that it's not uncommon to find scrub pythons in the area. However, snakes that size are rarely ever found. The snake was found when 2 wildlife keepers from the Rainforestation Nature Park were driving along Emerald Creek Road and they saw 2 cars stopped. The drivers of the vehicles thought that a very large tree branch had fallen. When the 2 nature park employees got out of their vehicle to investigate, they found out that it wasn't a branch but a snake. Number 6. Boa Constrictor. A major scare occurred when employees at a Red Lobster in Matthews, North Carolina came across a giant boa constrictor in the woods behind the restaurant. Considering that this snake is native to South America, it was not known how it got there. Officials estimated that the snake was 22 feet long, and they took the snake from the woods to keep anyone in the area from being injured. Also, to be sure that the snake didn't make its way any closer to the restaurant. Number 7. Diamondback Rattlesnake. In July 2017, a massive rattlesnake was caught on camera in Central Florida. A woman named Kathy Terry took a photo of the snake from the safety of her truck when it slithered in front of her. Since she did not want to get out of the car and actually measure the snake, she could only describe what she saw. According to Kathy, the snake was so long that it took up over 3/4 of the width of the 2-lane road. Kathy also stated that she took the photo to remind the residents of Florida to be careful with snakes in the wild. and also in their own backyards. Number 8. Burmese Python. Dusty the Wild Man Crumb captured a 17-foot Burmese python with his bare hands in the Florida Everglades. When the snake was captured, it had 78 eggs inside of it. This is the largest creature that has ever been caught in the Everglades National Park. According to Crumb, capturing this snake was like Andre the Giant on WrestleMania. While Crumb did risk his life trying to capture the snake, his paycheck doesn't really reflect the danger of the job. According to the South Florida District, Crumb and others who do this job earn only $8.10 per hour, plus a bonus for capturing a deadly snake. Number 9. Papuan Python. When a 25-year-old man from Indonesia named Akbar Salubiro went missing after harvesting palm oil on his family farm, people started to worry. When people started searching for Akbar, neighbors remembered hearing cries the night before. Not long after, a Papuan python was found that was estimated to be almost 30 feet long. As soon as the people found the snake, they worried that he'd been swallowed by it. Their fears grew when they noticed the shape of a rubber boot inside the snake. The people used an 18-inch hunting knife to cut the gigantic snake open, and Akbar's body came out. Number 10. King Cobra. A Malaysian family had a horrible scare when a giant king cobra slithered into their home. The snake was over 19 feet long, and the homeowner, Derek Yaifan, caught it on tape as it slithered around his home in Batu Pahat. According to Derek, he first spotted the snake in a pile of clothing and shoes before it made its way up to a pile of boxes and then onto the furniture. Derek was now terrified and tried to shoo the snake away. At the end of the video, the snake slithers between a gap between an inner grate and the front door before it disappeared through the hole. Derek doesn't think the snake is still in his house, but he says since he doesn't know where it went, he will remain scared that it will return. Number 11. Giant Anaconda. A group of men were uprooting a forest in Vietnam to prepare for building when they spotted a 20-foot-long giant anaconda. When the men approached the tree that the snake called home, it was pulled up by the digger. It is believed that the snake was sleeping when the tree was pulled up, which is why it did not move while the tree was being uprooted. The giant snake was hanging off of the digger, and nothing more could be done on the job until the snake was removed. Luckily, one of the workers was brave enough to pin the huge reptile to the ground with a stick so that they could continue digging. Number 12. Giant Anaconda. A farmer got up to work in the fields on his farm in Cambodia when he decided to drive a smaller tractor out to his larger one. He wanted to use the larger tractor because it was capable of covering more ground. When he got to the tractor, he found that a massive anaconda had wrapped itself around the back of the tractor. The snake was an estimated 30 feet long and had to weigh at least 400 pounds. Number 13. Python. A woman named Trina Hibbard from Mission Beach in Queensland, Australia, had been living at her home for over 10 years when one morning she woke up to see a snake that was over 16 feet long stretched out over the bottom of her bed. For years it was living in her roof without her knowledge before it dropped down to her master bedroom. Number 14. Monster Python. This snake is one of the 15 biggest snakes ever found. On December 4, 1989, a 65-year-old woman named Ruth Spalding from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, had to contact Todd Hardwick, the owner of Pesky Critters Relocation. When Ruth called about a snake in her home, he wasn't too worried. He showed up with a few helpers, a shovel, and a sleeping bag. When he arrived, he discovered that the snake was over 25 feet long. Number 15. Two pythons. The Florida Everglades is known for snakes, and during a period of just a few days, over 10 pythons were caught, 2 of them over 15 feet long. They were captured and killed to prevent any deaths from occurring in the populated area. And a bonus: toilet snake. A woman in Townsville, Australia had the shock of her life when she went into her bathroom to use the toilet, only to find a snake curled up inside. When she contacted the authorities to have it removed, They estimated that it was over 10 feet long. According to the homeowner, she will never use the bathroom again without first looking long and hard at the toilet. Subscribe for more.